there's this 15% pledge, which I know you're involved in, from Bluemercury and Sephora, basically saying 15% of our shelves, that's the goal, to be stocked with Black-owned businesses. You talked about the need of needing to manufacture, needing to ramp up. It's one thing to get actually on the shelves, but how difficult it is for minority businesses, which historically have been underfunded, to get to a point where they can actually be in a Sephora.
Let's talk about that funding. I mean, first of all, you know, all of beauty, it's only 2.5% are purchases that are coming to Black-owned companies, and that includes companies that have been acquired by the big boys, like a L'Oreal. And so that pot is pretty small, even though Black Americans spend over $11 billion. You know, and so there's a couple of things. One of the things that was analyzed in the McKinsey study is if we can have the Black consumer feel comfortable that as they come into a retailer, they're going to understand their skin, their hair, their needs, then there's about $2.6 billion to unlock there. And so what we've really been focused on is let's get our right partnerships, let's get in the door. So now we're in the door. I mean, we're at Sephora, we're at Macy's for Fashion Fair, we're at Ulta, we are at CVS, Walmart, and Rite Aid, and Target for Black Opal. So we feel like we're in the right retailers, and now it's a matter of working with those retailers to ensure that once a person that looks like me walks in, they feel comfortable. And so we've been focused a lot on education and training. And one of the things we found that has been difficult is there's very few, there's only 4% from CEO all the way down in beauty companies of people that look like me. And so, you know, we've got a lot of work to do, not only in terms of, you know, overall getting our piece of the pie.
Right.
We're so happy to be on shelves, and now we have to stay on shelves. And so that requires us to expend in marketing, to, you know, have great websites, to educate, all of these things that are super important. Asset. I mean, I feel like I'm in my old business of media. You know, it's all about the assets.
Right.
Desiree, what do the assets look like? Where's the how-to? Where's the beauty quiz? You know, how do I match my shade? How do I know that's the perfect color for me? I want to see it on 3 skin tones. So it's a lot of the beauty business is about assets today.
We're in this moment where, you know, with Black Lives Matter, that a lot of corporations have taken under DI initiatives. And it's always this feeling of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And we are in a period of some DEI backlash because of that. Have you had any experience with that, or has it made any issues for you and your partners, for your suppliers, who are feeling that type of pressure too?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. There's really doing the work, and there's talking about doing the work. And talking about doing the work is maybe that announcement is the first step. But how do you show up? You know, how do you show up day in and day out? It's hard. It's not easy. It's just not a few words. And so how do you show up, you know, in terms of, you know, let's say our capital needs, you know, and we know that, you know, capital for companies that are run by people that look like me in this beauty space, 13 million raised versus 20, significant difference. But we also know that 89% of the time you're going to get your return quicker than a non-white company. And so we need capital in order to be able to grow and exist and create, I'm hoping, $1 billion beauty empire for all of these independents that may come together under this collective. You have to have capital. So getting in is great, but then you have to be able to stay in. And I think, you know, some of the retailers have been very helpful in, you know, giving us a little breathing room, because there's all kinds of productivity numbers and things that you need to do. And saying, just, we're building. As long as we're building and growing, this should be, you know, great news. And hey, come help us. Invest a little bit in us.
Do you think that they understand fully the opportunity at hand and are moving quick enough?
I think they understand the opportunity, but sometimes it's like putting a round ball in a square, because if you are a very successful retailer and have been, you kind of have your standards of how things should go. So it's sometimes very difficult to think about it in a different way. And so our role really is, let's think about this in a different way, because I do believe, you know, America is changing, America is browning. And so, and people are, you know, just, you know, have very different needs. And so it's not going to be cookie cutter that one size fits all. And there's room for everybody.